So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up an AI for a real estate agent company. And this is going to be able to handle buyer leads and also seller leads. And you're probably wondering, who is this random guy? So my name is John, and I've helped almost 50 different companies in a multitude of different industries, ranging from real estate to tree companies to franchise consultants and many more industries. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do this step by step so you guys know exactly the way to do it. And let's just jump right into it. So let's jump into this on how to build this bot for a realtor from absolute scratch. I'm going to show you from step one, which is the Vapi account, and then we're going to go into the Make account, and then we're going to build the Marketplace app, and we're going to do the high-level automations. So I'm going to show you all of it, all in one video, and it's going to be really simple if you follow along the entire way. So let's go for it. So the first thing, we obviously need to create an assistant. So I'm going to hit create, and we're going to just call it new assistant. Let's do a blank template to start. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that blank template, and I also have a template for realtors. So if I just do Control A, paste this. Cool. So now we have the prompting in here. Let's go through this step by step so you guys know exactly what's happening. So it's explaining, hey, this is the role, these are the actual tasks, and these are the specifics. So this is what's actually going to happen during the conversation. So what it's going to say is, ask who you're speaking to. So this is a template for an inbound one, for example. So it's going to ask, hey, are you speaking to this person? They're going to say their name, and then you're going to introduce yourself. Your name is Emily, a voice assistant with this group, and ask them if they remember filling out a form to sell their home, right? And then informational is like, hey, this person gets top dollar and sells home fast with his actual marketing tactics. So it's kind of adding authority with this AI and just kind of saying this realtor is the best realtor possible to work with, right? And then you're going to figure out, hey, is this person a buyer or are they an actual seller? So if they're a buyer or a seller, and it's going to decipher which one is which. So if they're a home seller, it'll go through these questions. You can interchange these questions. Say if you want to know how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, this is all interchangeable. And if you want to add another question, you just throw it like this, ask, ... right? So you can just add another question in there, super easy. You also have the home buyer questions. So this is like, how many bedrooms do they want to buy a home? How quickly do they want to buy the home? Different stuff like that. So it's only going to go to these separate scripts if they want those specific sections, right? So it's going to skip the other one if they only want this. If they want both, it's going to go to both of them, for example. Next is to schedule an in-person appointment. So the bot's going to go for an in-person in this scenario. You can change it where it gives them the option to do like a phone call or an in-person, but most of the time you're just going to want to schedule the actual in-person appointment because the in-person is where the real value actually comes from. So we're going to schedule that in, and we're going to figure out the customer's address, and we're going to give them an actual address as an example so the AI knows, hey, this is all the information we need to pull the actual address. If we don't have this, then this is not a full address. So we're going to use that, and then the appointment details. So this stuff is all good. The next thing we need is this appointment details. We actually need to update this because this is essentially built out in a test environment. So to update that, we're going to use our proprietary appointment details section, right? So we're going to paste this in right here. Let's clean this up. So just like that, 9 dot, put that right in the front. Cool. Now we have a get calendar available times tool that we need to build out, but this is essentially setting it up. So tell the user the first available time that returns the time zone function. Tell the user the first available time, just like that. And that is that. So now we need to do 8. Cool. Now get calendar available times and booking available times now correctly works. So we put in like the confirmation, for example. This is just confirming they don't have any other questions. And then this is the actual rules, right? So we're going to actually save this. Now that that's saved, then we can change like the voices and stuff. So my favorite voice would be 11 Labs, and then I go to Dakota. So Dakota H. Cool. Switch that. Now we want to do just an English one, just to make it simple. We want to actually publish that. Cool. So now that that's published, we got to actually make the tools for this. So if I go into here, we want to create a new tool. Now I'm going to use the tools from another account and just paste this actually over. But the first thing, we need to create the make scenario so that we can actually send the tools through. So to do this, I'm going to copy and duplicate one of our automations. So optimum franchise booking. So I'm going to duplicate this. So we're going to use this, click that, clone. And we're going to just call this Realtor booking test bot. And now we want to create a new webhook for this too. So if I hit save, copy that address, save. Cool. So now we have a whole new make scenario. We're going to have to map the fields in here, but we can do that in a second. So paste this in here. Cool. Save. Next. Now we got to add the properties. So let's make sure that we get all of the properties. So this is just a booking function. So we got to get the booking actions along with it. So really all it is just selected slot. So paste, save, next. And then the next part is this one. So it's the description. We don't need the mobile number, so I'm going to remove that. Get calendar available times, paste that in there. Cool, create. So simple as that. So now it gets available times and it will actually submit the selected slot when it wants to book. So that's all created. Now we got to actually connect that into the assistant. So if we go into functions, connect that in, and then publish. Cool, simple as that. So now that that's published, we want to go into here and make sure everything is mapped correctly. So this is all mapped in, it's duplicating this other stuff, but we need to make sure that this actually works properly, because it's not going to work properly right away. So I'm going to just make sure that this is in the correct folder first off. So it's in this folder for right now. We're going to duplicate this one. So move the folder, Realtor, just like that. And we're also going to want the dispositions one, so we may as well just create that now. Dispositions, Realtor, test. Get the webhook, save, copy that. Now let's throw this into Vapi, so then we actually can send the end of call reports through. Cool. Just like that, publish. So I'm going to back out real quick. So if I go down, dispositions, move the folder, Realtor, just like that. So now we can see we have the two primary actions that we're going to need. So let's go into the actual booking one to start. So for this booking one, we do need to connect the OAuth on a high level. So let's get this OAuth actually working correctly. So if I go to my apps, we're going to create a new app. Where is this create an app button? Right there. So I just selected create a new app. Realtor test bot IT. And we're going to make it private. All we need is really the sub account, but I just select them all just in case. So click to upload. I have a test picture just to kind of throw it in there for now. And then advertising, tagline. This is just required information. I'm just going to speed through it. You can actually put in correct information for your clients when you build this out. So it's going to be auth, select scopes. We want calendars.read-only, calendars.write, calendars events.read-only, calendar events.write. And then the redirect URL. So I'm going to grab the correct redirect URL that we're going to use. So this is the Integromat redirect URL. And we're actually going to paste that in there just like that. And then save. Just like that. Connect that. And then next thing we need is the client keys and secret. So I'm going to call it key. And I'm just going to pull this up and pull up the sticky notes. So then I can actually save this information. So if I go over here, just like that. Cool. Now hit OK. And now I actually just save this in, and now we got the connection for the OAuth. So if I go into here, let's create a new OAuth connection real quick. So this is going to be realtor test YT. Authorized URI is going to be choose location. The next one is OAuth token. So now we want to throw in the actual scopes of this. So we want calendars read only, calendars write, calendar events read only, calendar events write, and then we also want contacts.read only, and then contacts.write. So we did forget these contacts area, so let's add contacts.read only, contacts.write. Let's make sure to save this. So if I go into here, now we have all of those. Now we just need the client ID and the client secret. So that was that information we actually got as the keys. So let's paste my client ID in here. Fix that. Paste that in. Change that to space. And then just like this, that'll actually connect. So let's wait for this to go through. Log in. Cool. So now we're just, you can see, this is all connected. We just select this. And then Integromat will be all connected, just like that. So it's verified. There we go. So now we actually want to go to the sub account. And the next thing we need to do is update things like this location ID, different stuff like that. So let's go into here. Let's find the location ID quickly. So we can go to the business profile. From here, we get this location ID like this. And we're going to start pasting this into this location ID for all of the OAuth connections. So I paste, cool. Let's paste this one too. This one has it right here. So click off of that. Let's check this one. This one has it down here. So location ID, paste. We look further. This is the location ID. So let's start going through every single one. So this one has it right here. This one has it right here. Oh, this is the calendar ID. So we want to make sure that this is actually the calendar ID. This one's probably also the calendar ID. Yep. So we're going to have to correct that in a second. So if I go back to here, we go into calendars. Now let's find the correct calendar that we're going to want to actually utilize. So free home buyer consult. So this is the calendar ID. And then, so this is a search. Let's update this one. So this one has the calendar ID. Paste. Let's go into here. Calendar ID. Paste. And then these two we also need to re-update. So calendar ID. And then same thing for this. Paste. And then this one also. Paste. Cool. So that's most of it. Now we also need to update the OAuth connection for all of these. So if I go into here, we find Realtor Test YT. Realtor Test YT. We got to do this for all of them too. So let's get all of these going. Realtor Test YT. Right here again. Same thing for this. Cool. So just like that, now we have all of these OAuth connections successful. The next thing we need is this actual bear token. We got to update with this private integrations right here. So if we go into the private integrations, we're going to want to create a new integration. So Realtor Test YT. And then we don't need a description. So we need scopes, calendar, view calendar events, and then we want contacts. save, and then create. Cool. Now we have this private integration ready to go. So I'm just going to X this. Now let's actually go into here, and we want to go back, and we want to update this bearer token for every single one. So paste that in. Same thing for this. Paste that in. Paste. Paste. Paste that in. Paste. And then the same thing for this last one. Paste. So now all of these will actually work properly, so we can just give it a test if we want. So I'm going to put a contact in here. I'm going to just put a phone number associated with it. So if I add a contact, I want to do test contact, put a phone number, let's put our company number, save. So now that the contact is actually created, we should be looking for this contact ID to actually output. So if we go into here, this is a search contacts action. So it searches the location for the query, which the query is the customer number. So if we want to run this module only, 248-923-4557, hit OK. And now it should pull up the actual contact. So we can see this contact ID is 1HZ. Now we can see 1HZ. So it pulled up this contact 100% correctly, test contact, all of the information. So this automation is without a doubt working properly. The OAuth connection is set up. All of this works great. So now that we have this rolling, we're going to want to actually do the dispositions. The dispositions is the next step. So what we're going to want to do is go into here, and we want to kind of formulate this part. So these two are already working properly. This is checking the opportunities tab. It organizes that. And this one is sending all the information through. So what we need to do is update this post in that URL to make sure that that sends the information correctly. So what we want is we want a template. Cool. So I just added both of these templates in here. So we want to go to the actual automations. Now on page 2, we should see the templates in here. So we have the call disposition. So this is the one that we want to send the outcomes of the phone calls to. And I'm going to show you how to actually formulate this so that it works correctly and it updates the pipelines, updates the notes, all the different information that you would need about these customers, it'll do. So we can go right here, and what we're going to want to do is update this right here. But the one thing that we don't have in the prompting is actually how to update this information. So for example, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, different stuff like that. So if you have any questions similar to that, what you're going to want to do is add a module. We're going to add an OpenAI module. What we're going to do is create a transform text to structured data. So this is going to allow us to take the information from the phone call and actually update it correctly. So we're going to want to find the transcript. So this is the transcript. I want to use 4.0 system prompting. You are to understand the transcript and output the fields that are provided. So now we want structured data definition. So this will output everything into structured data. So for example, buyer bathrooms. This is the number of bathrooms the buyer wants in their home. So data type, we want to do text. We want to give it actual examples. 3 bathrooms, 2 bathrooms, just like that. And then we want to do this for all of the other ones. So for example, if we want this next one, number of bedrooms, text, just like that. Now we want 1 bedroom, for example. So we can do this, parameter name, buyer, bedrooms, paste this all in. Now we have 2 sets of structured data. So 3 bedroom and 1, for example. And then it'll actually output all of this information correctly. So now we actually want to parse this in. So let's show you how to parse it. Buyer bedrooms, and right there. Buyer bathrooms, just like that. We want to paste. So now we have this all working properly. It parses certain information. We can add more information as necessary, but this is a nice starting point that you can utilize. So then we're going to go back to here. We want to copy this URL. We want to actually paste this in right here. So now it'll post the information directly there. Now I'm just going to send test data to map it in correctly. So let's just put that all there, and then we're actually going to just send it. So now, success test request complete, and find that through, and we want to parse this. So right now, the phone number should already be parsed, but let's just double check it. So we want to go there, inbound webhook trigger, query, customer number, paste. This math operation actually counts the number of phone calls. So data field, or it would be custom values, it would be number. Oh, there's no actual custom field for this yet. So let's throw in a custom field. So if I save that just to make sure it saves properly, now we want to add in a custom field for number of phone calls. So if I go into custom fields, then we're going to create a new one. Let me see. So add field, just like that. And we're going to do a number field. So number of calls, contact, create. Now let's go back into that dispositions automation. And it's on page 2. Let's go into here, and now we got to update that math operation field. So real quickly, once it loads in, math operation, number of calls, updated field, number of calls. Now it adds 1 to the value of the selected field, just like that. Really simple. And now this is the if-else condition. To do an if-else based on specific scenarios. So new lead. So if, for example, inbound webhook trigger query pipeline contains, for example, new lead, it's going to go into there. If inbound webhook trigger query pipeline contains lost, it's going to go into there. And we want to do this for each of the other ones too. So let's do this real quickly. Contains, paste, booked, trigger, query pipeline, contains, booked, and if it also contains, reactivate. Just like that. So now all of these are actually working properly, so you can see if it contains reactivate, it works. Now we actually want to update the pipeline scenario, so the pipeline is not selected. So let's say these are buyers, for example. The buyer is still in form submission, save. Now this is the lost section, so if the buyer is in lost, this one is in scheduling. So this means they actually started having a conversation, they might be a hot lead, but they didn't actually book an appointment, they didn't move forward in the process by any means. So this one is booked. So we want to do showing booked. And then this one is reactivate. So this is like a long-term sequence on that customer. Long-term follow-up, just like that. Now obviously what these are doing is actually updating the notes of the contact. So it's new lead, summary, call recording, just like that. And then we also want internal notifications. So this is going to give an internal notification to the team. So if you want for example, this would be a lot more relevant. You're going to want the summary. So if we go summary right there, and then they can actually read off the summary. So I would save that. Same thing for this. Summary, save. Now let's save this automation. So that automation is going to work 100% properly. So if we back out a little bit, and then we go into the actual outbound calls. So now the dispositions work. Now let's go into Vapi calls. So if we go into here, so this is splitting the call. So it's going to drip the campaign. So it makes sure that you don't go into spam. Make sure you avoid calling 1,000 calls at once and hitting the concurrency limits. This will kind of spare you with this drip module, right? And then this will split it. So you can split it to multiple different phone numbers. So this might be phone number 1, phone 2, phone 3, phone 4. You can do up to 10 concurrent calls on Vapi off just their basic organization. And that's outbound calls. So this was just updated. You can do 10 outbound calls concurrently. And if you do more, it'll actually stop and it won't let you make the phone calls. So let me show you how to actually update this information correctly. So for example, we're going to want to update this bearer. So if I go into here, we go into this, we go into API keys. We want to use this private key that we get, copy it, and we're going to paste that in there. And then this has an error because these contact fields are not actually in the CRM. So we're going to make it really simple, just like that. And now it's first name, email, phone, and these are all legitimate contact fields. So what we're going to want to update is, for example, right here, assistant ID. So we want to paste this in here. And we want to also get a phone number associated with the account. So we don't have a phone number. So let's just buy a phone number real quick. Let's buy a 248 number. Let's get this rolling. It always takes a second. There we go. Now we have a phone number associated with the account. So I want to go into phone number ID and actually paste this ID right in there. So paste, just like that. And now this action 100% works properly. So if I just copy this, copy action, paste this there. Now this is the non-working one. And this is the working one. Yep. So let's delete these other two real quick. Delete, delete action, delete. So copy right there. Copy right there. So just like that. So now this will actually work properly. So we can test the action real quick. So if I go into here, test workflow, and we're going to want to put in that test contact, and let's see if I get a phone call on my phone. So we should be getting a call in about a second. Don't see a call yet. It says it's waiting on the wait step. Oh, it's in the drip mode. So we got to give it a second for it to drip through. So let's actually just push this right through. So move all the contacts to the next step. And that should allow us to get a phone call. Let's see. Sometimes it's fun to mess with. Should be getting a call here soon. But this is the generic Vapi errors that we got to deal with sometimes. So if we go through, Vapi calls, it says there's still one contact in this. So let me try this real quick. So let's turn on the automation. Let's try to also drop down the interval to 1 minute. And save that. And we should be getting a call very, very shortly. Let's see. Try to move all again. Still in this automation. Once it hits these custom webhooks, then it will start making the call. But we just got to keep giving it a second. So let's see. execution logs. It says it executed. So, oh, I just realized that actually went directly to our AI. So we have an AI receiving the phone calls on that number. So let me switch up the number. So if I add a new contact real quick. So 743168619. This is a number that will work. Test. So now we're going to go to, let's go back to that automation so we can watch everything go through. Vapi calls, test workflow. We're going to add this one in. And then let's watch it during the logs. So this new contact went through, different color, it's a new contact. So now we just hit this, move all. Now let's give it a second. Custom webhook is waiting. So there's the call. Let's talk to this AI. Hello?
Hi there, I'm Emily, an AI voice assistant with Realty Group. May I ask who I am speaking with today? Hey there, who am I speaking with?
Yeah, this is John.
Hi John, nice to meet you. Have you filled out a form for selling your home recently?
Yeah, I was looking to sell.
Give me a moment. Great, John. Mohammed has helped many people get top dollar for their homes and sells homes fast with his marketing tactics. Before we schedule an appointment, I just need to ask you a couple of questions. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's totally cool.
Great, let's get started. How many bedrooms does your home have, John, and how many bathrooms?
I have 3 bedrooms and I also have 3 bathrooms.
How quickly are you looking to sell your home, John? Do you have any specific amenities like a pool or waterfront that you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, I have a pool.
Got it. Now, are you open to scheduling an in-person appointment with Mohammed? If so, I'll need your address for the appointment.
Yeah, my address is 13557 Pine Street, Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Give me a moment. Give me a moment to check for available times on the calendar. I'll be right back with the first available time for an appointment with Mohammed.
Okay.
This will just take a sec. I apologize. It seems I'm unable to access
This automation is off, so let's delete old data and then let's turn it on.
I'm really sorry about this inconvenience. It seems there's a technical issue preventing me from accessing the calendar.
Can you try it again?
Hold on a sec.
So we can see it's running now and it's actually going through. The automation was off, so these are the simple fixes you got to do sometimes.
The some other available times are 1. October 16th at 8:30 a.m., 2. October 17th at 9:30 a.m., 3. October 18th at 11 a.m., 4. October 19th at 2:30 p.m., 5. October 20th at 4 p.m. Would any of these times work for you, John?
So there might not be also a staff in here. So let's check if there's a staff. So there is staff. Let's check the calendars. Let's make sure there's a staff associated with it. What other options are there?
This will just take a sec. Here are some additional options. October 16th at 12 p.m., October 18th at 10:30 a.m., October 19th at 4 p.m., October 17th at 8 a.m., and October 20th at 5:30 p.m. Do any of these times work for you, John?
Yeah, the last one works.
One moment. Your appointment has been successfully booked for October 20th at 5:30 p.m. Does this time work well for you, John?
Let's check if that actually booked correctly. should be coming from this number. Yeah, that time works.
Perfect. Your appointment with my...
So we can see all of these actions actually worked correctly. So after watching that video, you should have a great understanding of exactly how to set up this real estate AI system. And it shows you from the GoHighLevel automations to the make.com automations. And it also shows you the Vapi automations and how to create the tools, how to create the prompting, and all of that different stuff. So not just this, we also have a free school community. You can see it right here. And it has all of our different courses and everything that we can't actually share on YouTube. We're posting it all in our school community. So if you want to join this, it's 100% free, and it will always be free.